Hi guys, if you need help with this activity that's doing the equivalent measurements, go ahead and watch through this video. I'm going to go through it step by step. You can fast forward through to the slide that you need, or you can watch from beginning to end and do it with me. So we're starting on the second slide, and it's just asking what is 1 meter, what is that in centimeters? So they told us already 1 is equal to 100. So now I'm just saying, okay, what if I had 2? Well, that would just be 2 times 100, which is 200. I do the same thing for 3 and 4. I'm multiplying this number, my number of meters, by 100. So 3 equals 300 centimeters, and 4 meters equals 400 centimeters. In other words, it takes a whole lot of centimeters to fill 1 meter stick. Okay? And if you look on the side, we have a picture here to show each one of those little ticks is a centimeter. It takes 100 of those to fill 1 meter, which is about the length of a baseball bat. So show my thinking here. What I just did was multiplication, right? 2 times 100 equals 200. 3 times 100 equals 300. 4 times 100 equals 400. If you know that there are 100 centimeters in 1 meter, how many centimeters are there in 4 meters? Well, we already said that 4 meters has 400 centimeters. And we know because 4 times 400, or 100 equals 400. Now let's go ahead to the next slide, slide 3. Now we're looking at centimeters, those little tiny ticks, and going into millimeters, which are the tiny ones inside of that. So if you ever look at the back of the ruler, the centimeter side of the ruler, inside each of those centimeters, there's a whole bunch of 10 of those little tick marks. Those are millimeters. So we know that for every one there are 10. So I am multiplying my number of centimeters by 10. So 2 times 10 gives me 20. 3 times 10 gives me 30. And 4 times 10 gives me 40. I'm going to go ahead and show that here. Again, because for every 1 centimeter, you have 10 millimeters. So if I have 10 and 10 more, that makes 20. If I have 10 and 10 and 10, that's 30. Okay? If you know that there are 10 millimeters in 1 centimeter, how many millimeters are there in 4 centimeters? We know that there are 40. We know because there are 10 in 1, 10 in 2, 10 in 3, and 10 in 4, which equals 40. Or I could say 10 times 4. Same thing. 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 10. Same thing as saying 10 times 4. All right, slide 4. 1,000 meters equals 1 kilometer. So if I go back to this picture, show it here. Here's 1 meter stick, right? It's about the length of a baseball bat. A kilometer is 10 football fields long. It's kind of like a mile. So here they're saying if I have 1,000 meters, that equals 1 kilometer. This time I'm going backwards, right? If I have 2 kilometers, how many meters do I have? Well, I have 1,000 in the first kilometer and 1,000 in the second, so that gives me 2,000. Notice here that this one does not say 3, it says 4. It's skip counting. So I have 1,000 in each, and I have 4 of them, so I have 4,000. Same thing for my last one, 1,000 in each one, and I have 6 of them, so that gives me 6,000. I'm going to go ahead and show that using a math fact. Oops, nope, sorry. 1,000 times 2 equals 2,000. 1,000 times 4 equals 4,000. And finally, we did 1,000 times 6, and that gave us 6,000. Okay, this is the same thing as that last question. If I have 6 kilometers, how many meters do I have? I have 1,000, 1,000, that's 2 kilometers, 3 kilometers, 4 kilometers, 5 kilometers, 6 kilometers, and that equals 6,000 meters. Okay. Slide 5. 1 meter equals 1,000 millimeters. So one of those baseball bats equals 1,000 of those tiny little ticks inside that ruler. So I just saw that there was an error here, so I'm going to fix that real quick. All right, so 1 meter equals 1,000 millimeters. I'm going to do the same thing that I've been doing. If one of them is 1,000, then 2 of them is 2,000. 4 of them would be 4,000, and 8 of them would be 8,000. I am multiplying 1,000 times the number of meters. Okay, so I did 2 times 1,000, 4 times 1,000, and then 8 times 1,000. And I know that same thing here, 8 times 1,000 equals 8,000. Or I could do 1,000 plus 1,000 plus 1,000, 8 times, right? So in other words, it takes a whole bunch of those tiny little ticks to make 1 meter stick. Using what we know, and you can use this to help you on slide 6, how we convert or how we make them into each other. I also gave you that picture here on the side to help you. It's asking you to put them in order from smallest to largest. So we know the millimeters are the tiny little lines inside a ruler. So that's going to be our smallest. Our centimeter is next. That's about the size of your pinky fingernail. A meter is third. That's going to be about the size of a baseball bat. And a kilometer is the biggest. That's similar to like a 10 football fields or about a mile. A little less than a mile. And our last slide just asks you to fill the table with, to solve some problems. So in your example, you have this, right? 7 centimeters. So we know that 1 centimeter is equal to 10. So if I have 7 of them, that would be equal to 70. Now here, I added a decimal just to make this a little bit different. Just like I did here, I times by 10, so 7 became 70. The same thing would happen here. Only now that 1/2 would be equal to, if you times by 10, 5, right? Half of 10 is 5. Or I can think about it this way. If my decimal was here, I moved it 1 time to the right, and it became 70. Same thing is happening in that second one. My decimal's in the middle. When you multiply by 10, you're just moving that decimal 1 time to the right. Okay, so my answer here is going to be 75. Do the same thing with 8. Times 10, I move it 1 time to the right. I fill in that gap with a 0. And 8 times 10 gives me 80. 8.5 or 8 5/10. I move my decimal 1 time to the right, which is the same thing as multiplying by 10, and that gives me 85. And my last one is 90, 9 times 10. You'll notice the pattern in your answers there, that they're counting by 5s. So show your thinking here. When I multiply by 10, I move the decimal 1 spot to the right. So if you know that there are 10 millimeters in 1 centimeter, how many centimeters are there in 100? Okay, so I had 10 millimeters, and they want to know how many centimeters are in 100. So all I did here was multiply by 10, right? 10 times 10 gave me 100 from the 10 to the 100. So I'm going to do the same thing to the 1 and multiply it by 10. 1 times 10 equals 100 centimeters. And that's it.